The movie starts with the scene in a motel where there is Alice, a 30-year-old woman who rushes into the bathroom as she receives a call from her husband, Eric. It's 2 a.m. Eric welcomes her warmly and reminds her of an appointment that they have for the day, a fertility doctor. We find that Alice is working as a social media manager at a pharmaceutical company, and today she is driving home after attending an important convention. But without Eric's knowledge, his wife is cheating on him with her colleague and best friend, John. The two leave the motel in the next scene and continue driving again. Along the way, it is revealed that Alice and Eric are having problems conceiving a child, but Eric seems to be very supportive and caring. But then, John notices that the fuel has almost run out, and this confuses him a bit as he clearly remembers filling the tank just yesterday. Nonetheless, he pulls over at a nearby gas station to solve the problem. As he attends to his refueling business, Alice walks inside to buy a coffee. At about the same time, we establish that the car is leaking, and that's why it ran out of gasoline in a blink of an eye. There, adjacent to this station, a billboard was located reading "God is nowhere." Inside the store, Alice proceeds to the counter to make the payment. However, inside the store, she finds no one, so she leaves the money on the counter. At this moment, she sees something appalling: bloodstains on the walls, and immediately after reaching out for the door to leave, an unknown person shoots her in the arm. After that, a storm of bullets is released in her direction. Alice somehow manages to crawl to safety, but her pleas for help fall on deaf ears. It turns out John is listening to loud music inside his car, so he is completely oblivious to what's happening inside. After applying a tourniquet around her injured arm, Alice takes a small peek outside. Suddenly, a bullet whizzes past her, and it is at this moment that she realizes the sniper is on the same billboard. Now, she is in a very precarious position. She is cornered by an unknown assailant, and her only friend is outside, totally unaware. Alice then decides to reach for her phone, which is a few meters away. But when she is reaching out for it, the sniper demolishes it with one shot. Now Alice feels time is running out for her, so she has decided to search for some other way to save herself. She watches the CCTV footage and found there was an exit door. Then suddenly she heard a voice coming from somewhere. After looking around, she finds a walkie-talkie lying on the next table. It is still dangerous to get there because the desk is within the sniper's range, so Alice carefully devises a plan. She sends up a few packets of chips in the air when the sniper shoots at them. She hurries to get the walkie-talkie. Alice tells the man to call the police, and the man on the other side asks about his wife, Amelia. Meanwhile, John feels that the petrol is running low once again and later comes to know that his gas tank is leaking. Now, Alice is nowhere to be seen for quite a long time, so John goes inside the store to inquire about her whereabouts. Unluckily, immediately after he finds her, someone shoots him in the neck. John falls to the floor and pleads with Alice for help, but the sniper shoots him once again, and finishes him off for good. After the horrifying incident, Alice tries to retrieve the walkie-talkie, which was thrown into the open area by using a mop stick. Alice then tells the man her name and the condition in the mini-market. He immediately requests more information regarding the whereabouts of his wife, Amelia, before Alice states, "There isn't anybody in here, dear." After having heard these words, he rapidly dials in the police number asking for an assistant. Thereon, he pacifies Alice, assuring her of help at exactly 15 minutes. Suddenly, within the very next second, this man breaks out into laughter, after which it was pronounced that it is he himself that had blasted the skull of John away. As if that weren't enough, the man adds that if Alice does not want to talk to him, he will come down there. On looking at the room, Alice finds some light switches and thinks within herself she will have a better chance if the store gets dark. Alice gathers some objects and starts hurling them towards the switchboard, but it doesn't work. She finds at this moment that the shelf which she uses as a hide is on wheels. Alice starts to slowly push the shelf forward while dodging a barrage of bullets shot into her direction. She leaps in and turns off the lights in the store. Shortly after that, Alice tries calling another individual through the radio. However, every time the call is being connected to the sniper adds that no other person is present other than himself, Alice, and his wife, Amelia. Here, Alice finally gets to know the fact that Amelia is dead. The killer now reveals that he killed his own wife because she was cheating on him. This makes Alice more scared because Alice has also been cheating on her husband. She deduces that perhaps this is the reason why the sniper is after her. Or maybe, she was just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. After some time, Alice sees a vehicle arrive at the gas station, and a guy named Doug steps out of the car. He goes inside the store looking for his girlfriend, Amelia. Looking at him, Alice quickly requests him to get down, claiming that there is a deadly sniper nearby. She deduces that he is the same guy Amelia had been having an affair with. Alice instructs him to call the police, but unfortunately, Doug left his phone in his car. Alice explains that his girlfriend has already been killed by her husband, but a shocked Doug claims the killer is lying. Amelia was never married. When the man gets to the counter, it dawns on her that ever since Doug arrived inside the store, the sniper has been silent. He hasn't fired any shots either. This makes her suspicious that Doug is actually the killer, but the guy insists that it's really not him. Doug claims that he and Amelia both work graveyard shifts, and he came here just to see his girlfriend. As a result, Alice is confused and she doesn't know whom to believe. She is still skeptical about the whole situation, so Doug tells her to talk to the killer then. Since time is running out, and the sniper hasn't made any noise, Alice asks him to go to his car and retrieve his phone to prove that he is not the sniper. She would do the best she can to distract the sniper. Scared about the whole idea, since it seems to be too dangerous, Doug hesitantly agrees when Alice insists. Unfortunately, when he got to his car, he could reach the phone on the car phone holder, but a broken bar he gets shot and killed, and the phone is destroyed, too. It means that everything he said is true. The sniper was not him. Alice stays broken because she sent poor Doug to his death, and the chances of getting out are ruined, too. The real sniper returns to talk on the radio and says that she is a murderer. She sent Doug on a suicide mission, when she knew that he wouldn't survive. The sniper then reveals that he wants to know the truth, and he knew Alice was at the convention. He is disgusted by how she makes drugs which affects the lives of so many people. Alice claims that her company manufactures medications and she is just a social media manager, but the sniper claims that it is even worse. She is the one who distributes the drugs by lying that they are good. Plus, the sniper also knows Alice's company name, and claims Alice was a selfish lady who had climbed the corporate ladder by betraying others, and she deserves to die. This seemingly disillusioned individual states that Alice falsely accused the guy of sexual assault in order to advance her career, and the accused man was fired, leaving him with no money to care for his sick daughter. As he continues ranting on the radio about someone who could be him, Alice notices a lot of umbrellas next to the counter, and decides to do something with them. It is even disputable that the man who had been using a walkie-talkie was Amelia's husband. First of all, because of Doug's denial and affirmation of its inauthenticity, one may suspect this character even further. Probably the sniper lied about getting Alice by making everybody believe him when he said Amelia was his wife whom he came seeking revenge against because of cheating. It is not known whether it was a pre-planned attack on Alice, or just an incident where Alice happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. As the sniper continues talking, Alice starts preparing some umbrellas, but immediately he notices what she is doing. He opens fire on the gas station. Luckily, Alice manages to reach the exit door somehow, but it seems to be locked at present. Alice decides to look for items to break the padlock and tries to break open it, but to no avail. She then spots a random guy arriving at the station to fill up some gas. However, when his credit card doesn't work, he soon departs. The sniper doesn't fire at him. It seems like he kills those people only when they find out what he was planning to do. Meanwhile, Alice becomes emotional and tries to persuade the sniper to let her go. She mentions that she hasn't been able to conceive and this had already put enough stress on her marriage. But to her surprise, the sniper already knows that she is cheating on her husband. He reprimands her for being an irresponsible woman and says that the world would be better off without her. At that moment, she sees a police car speeding toward the gas station, but unfortunately, it quickly drives by without stopping. Alice uses the distraction to slip out of the store and creep towards John's car, while the sniper continues to ask where she is. However, when she attempts to get into John's car, the sniper shoots at her, and this leaves Alice with no choice but to retreat back to the store again. In the process, she gets shot once again, this time in her thigh. Alice writhes in pain and is slowly losing her consciousness, but she later manages to apply first aid to her wound, which stops the bleeding temporarily, while the sniper continues to rant about humanity. Alice also notices the uniform of a certain Henry guy. He seems to have been dismissed some weeks ago, but his possessions are still in the room. There is even a photograph of him with his daughter. She then takes out a hacksaw and attempts to cut open the padlock, but in this process, she hurts her hand. In irritation, she seizes the radio and says that it's gonna take a lot more than killing her to solve his problems. She asks him for the name Henry, and empathizes with his life. However, after a sudden silence, the sniper only says, "Who's Henry?" A few minutes later, another car comes to the station. An old man steps out to refuel his car, but he unfortunately looks at Doug's dead body and loses it. This sends a warning to the sniper, who then immediately shoots the man. To make matters worse, the man's wife also comes out, while Alice desperately tries to signal her to hide. But it's too late. The sniper shoots the old lady as well. In this way, an innocent couple is brutally murdered right in front of each other. The murderer then tells Alice that they share the evil gene, which she will pass on to her unborn child. Alice says they are nothing alike, and admits to choosing not to have children so they don't suffer from depression, and become a coward, hiding in the dark, killing innocent people like the sniper. But right then, she sees a little girl named Cindy in the car. After seeing how her grandparents brutally were killed, she is scared to run. Alice immediately talks to the killer, and requests that he spare the child, but in response, he says that if he wanted to kill her, he would have already. He then asks Alice if she would give up her life for Cindy. Alice confidently says a yes, and the sniper gives her 2 minutes to make the child go away. She instructs the child to run to the road, but despite Alice's best efforts to persuade Cindy to leave, she is unsuccessful. The little girl runs inside the store, because she is too afraid to venture out in the dark. Now, with no options left, Alice blocks the door, and starts cutting through the exit gate's padlock. At the same time, the killer finally gets down from the billboard, and starts walking towards the store to finish the job. After a while, Alice manages to cut open the padlock, but she is devastated to learn that there is another shutter behind, which is locked. Now, she has no choice but to face the monster herself. She quickly hides Cindy, grabs whatever weapons she can, and then braces herself for a fight. Soon, the sniper arrives at the store and is able to enter it, and he starts looking around. He asks Alice, was he sent here by her betrayed husband? Is he a co-worker who got fired without due process so she could steal his job? Or is he perhaps an anguished father, who's lost his daughter to complications after using the drugs from her company? As he reaches a corner, Alice suddenly jumps him from behind, and impales a rod in his back. Yet this is still insufficient to bring the sniper down. He attacks Alice, and both start fighting when Alice tries to remove his mask. Meanwhile, when Cindy is sitting in a corner watching this fight, she hears a shot, and Alice falls to the ground, dead, or so it seems. Now, he reaches the little girl's hideout, where he finds her. He attempts to remove his mask to reveal his face, but at that moment, Alice appears out of nowhere. She uses all her remaining energy to hit him with the fire extinguisher. The sniper tries to get up, but she hits him again, and this time he becomes immovable. She drags him to the hydraulic press and puts him in there, all the while trying to find out who is behind the mask. But before she could see who he is, the machine gruesomely crushes his skull, finally bringing the whole drama to an end. The only problem is that Alice will never find out who the killer was. His motives are also not known, which is the biggest mystery in this movie. Alice eventually loses all of her energy, lies on the ground, and slowly breathes her last. A few seconds later, she dies, with Cindy witnessing all of these awful things happen. The final scene ends with the little girl walking out of the store and proceeding along the road. The morning sun has dawned, and it is fortunate for the little girl to be the only survivor of the gruesome event.